what I believe that, when the massive online programs and lots of online courses and program uh, started to become very popular.
How are people going to survive?
I don't know how to describe it. It was a waste of time, or it was a time that I needed to have to become the person that I am today.
Hard times create strong men. What are the 3 to 5 or maybe 3 most important skills that you need that an employer looks for, or in general that helps you in your personal life? Thank you so much, Professor, for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
And you are a great man. You have great wives. I was planning on a lot of things to tell you. You're really charming. I'm not gay, but but you have been amazing.
Thank you so much.
When I was taking the sessions, I was like, I'm not done yet. I have to meet you again. I have to still learn from you. How was your day? How have you been?
Well, first of all, it's an honor to be here, and thanks for the kind words. I do it with my heart. For me, teaching is more than a job.
Yeah.
And I truly love what I do, and I do it with my heart.
Yeah.
And I got that from my parents. They were both teachers.
That is
my
good.
father established an elementary school back in 1969 in Iran and called it the Dawn of Prosperity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I got that in my blood, and I've been teaching on and off, but I started teaching when I was 20 years old. So
20 years old.
yeah.
Okay.
So it's been a while, and I love my students, and I love teaching. Today and yesterday was the graduation ceremony.
And I was there too.
Yeah,
That's
congratulations.
all formal. Thank you.
Congrats on your big achievement, and
Thanks a lot.
you did great. And I vouch that you did not use ChatGPT at all.
Yeah, I did not. So, the Dawn of, what was the name again?
Prosperity. Dawn of Prosperity.
Dawn of Prosperity. And there's an organization or a business that you already have right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
I was going through your profile and that's where I read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I started that business. It's a consulting business in immigration.
Mm-hmm.
I studied immigration law, so I'm an RCIC, regulated Canadian immigration consultant. And it's been around about 8 years now. And I'm
That's good.
helping students, helping clients to come to Canada.
And how long have you been here?
12 years.
12 years.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So, since you teach, and okay, about your business, what all do you do right now?
In terms of immigration,
Immigration as well as you're a professor, so where else do you teach?
I teach at University of Victoria.
Yeah.
2 days a week, and I teach at University Canada West. I'm a full-time faculty member at University Canada West.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was telling you about my journey a little. So I realized that I like interacting a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I was in theater. So it was like 2 things. One is being around people, and I was a little appreciated for my personality because I participated in Miss and Mr. Teen India. That is like the teenage version of that pageant.
Mm-hmm.
And I was the second runners up.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I was always appreciated. I was like, okay, let me do something with my personality. Let me sell that. If people are liking that, admiring that, let me sell that. So I opened a personality grooming or personal development institute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it was doing well.
Mm-hmm.
And that eventually COVID hit and I had to shut down my centers. I took everything online and then I was getting bored online. I was getting fat and I was getting bored online because it wasn't fulfilling my needs of meeting people and talking to them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I thought, okay, let's come to Canada. That was my journey for that.
And you did it.
I did it. So the thing is, since I was telling you that I come from a business family,
Mm-hmm.
I've been trying to look for jobs, but I have not been able to because I don't like going to the webs. I mean, I should do that, but I am not really enjoying that.
Mm-hmm.
So luckily, I was born in a family where my family would tell me, do what you like doing. They were not like, just like the Asian families or, South Asian or our families are like. So be a doctor or an engineer and all of that things. So my family wasn't like that. Do whatever you like doing. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So before I start asking you a question, my question to you would be, is it worth, I don't know if you could answer that, but is it still worth doing an MBA?
I think so.
Since
I
we
think
have
so.
all the information and then.
Yeah. So just to give a little bit of background about how MBA was created and how it helped professionals to learn management skills and leadership skills that they need to have in order to be able to lead an organization or a company. And later I will touch on the personal aspects of MBA as well.
That's right.
It goes back to 50, 60 years ago when they wanted to pick a doctor to be the new manager of the hospital.
Okay.
They would look into who is the most seasoned member of the hospital, and they would say, Dr. Singh, now you've been selected to be the new manager. And the doctor was happy going home saying, I've been selected to be the new manager because the previous manager is retired now or it's moving to another location. Tomorrow morning, when people come to his office to ask, what should we do with this? What should we do with finance? What should we do with the human resource strategy? Or what? Didn't know anything about any of those topics. So professionals, that could be a physician, could be a miner, could be a mechanic, could be an engineer, could be in any industry. They didn't have the managerial skills and the leadership skills that they needed to have in order to be able to run and to lead the business. So MBA was created to give that extra skill set that managers need to have beside to the professional knowledge of the industry in order to be able to become a good leader.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, so many organizations today, they are led by MBA graduates, by MBA professionals.
Yeah.
Because they have the know-how, they also have the ability and the capability and the capacity to lead the organization.
Right.
That set aside, the personal aspect of MBA that I love, I always say in the class, I say the most valuable business that you and I have in our lives, it's the business of ourselves.
Right.
So we learn in the business how to set goals, how to monitor and the progress, and how to check, and how to redesign, replan, re-engineer, reinvent, revamp if it's needed. And we learn how to set a vision for ourselves.
Yeah.
We learn how to have missions on daily basis. We learn how to market ourselves when we need to. We learn how to have a financial plan, right? So everything that we learn in MBA, it translates to a recipe for success in the personal life. And that's what I love about MBA. I love MBA for many reasons. And I think it's very practical, the knowledge that students get in the class. And around MBA would be the most practical learnings and techniques that they learn in the life.
Right. And it's also important, very important for somebody who's teaching MBA to have that kind of experience. Like, that's what I felt with you. Honestly, there are two professors I got crazy about, and I learned like crazy. Especially there was this one thing that I was asking, you were sharing that about being, what is, when you were teaching, what is self-employed and what is a business. Something that cannot run without you is not business.
It's a self-employment.
That self-employment, that just opened my eyes. And after that, my vision changed a little about how to work in a business. That was something great. And I keep on sharing with my friends that you have your experiences that you are able to bring on the table. And that helps us understand even better. But what I feel is, and you do it because you enjoy it, right? But not everybody is doing that. Not everybody is like you, right? So that's where I feel I hated the lectures where the professors wouldn't interact with me, or in general. They would come, teach their sessions, and then get done with it. I hated those. So how can one learn there, and what can one do there in those lectures?
In those lectures, well, I believe that in every class we can learn something. Even the class is not running in the way that we want it to be run. But I agree that when I was a student myself, I felt connection with some of the instructors more than others. I loved all of them, but there were some instructors that I could connect more, and I'm still in contact with them. A few years ago, I found my grade 1 teacher, and I got connected
That's
to
great.
her. Yeah. Unfortunately, she passed away last year, but I'm glad that I could be connected to her before she passed away. I'm still in connection with some of my teachers from my high school, some of the instructors that I had at university in my master program and in my doctorate program, and they write back to me and say, it seems that we are colleagues now.
That's good.
And I say, I'm always your student, and I'm here today because of the teaching that I had in the class.
Yeah.
But what I believe that, when the massive online programs and lots of online courses and program started to become very popular, many scholars, they raised the concern about the future of education, that what happens in future for education. Would it be all online? Would it be all education that students would click and would start a self-paced program, very nice, submit their assignments, and then get their degree or certificate or credential and graduate?
Yeah.
And I believe, and I said that instructors and teachers, they give depth to the knowledge without providing examples, real life examples, without case studies, without hands-on and personal stories. I usually say a few personal stories.
I've heard, I remember your stories.
And I think that gives
Love
depth.
them.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I think that those stories and personal experiences, they give depth to the teaching, and then a student can click and they can connect.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what can be done, I think, in any class is something to learn. In some classes are more than others.
Absolutely, that's right. Okay, so the next question is, a lot of people are coming to Canada thinking that they are going to have a career here, but the job, the condition of the market right now is really bad, what I feel. And I've seen people struggling. I also struggle a lot. Like, I've been struggling finding a job, though I've not been doing that rigorously, but I've seen people applying for tons of jobs every day. So how to cope up with that? How to get a job right now? What's going to happen? How are people going to survive? And how do we survive?
There are two main factors: internal factors and external factors. We sometimes cannot control and manipulate, or we cannot make a change in the external world, but we can make a lot of changes in ourselves and in the internal environments. So what I would suggest, the first step would be to stay energized, passionate, hopeful, dedicated, and perseverant to having the resilience that you need to have, and eventually you will be successful. If you're lucky, it will be quick, maybe a couple of bumps. If you're not lucky, it may take a little bit longer, but eventually, if you keep your spirit and your energy high, you will get to a point that you want to be, and you love to be, and you deserve to be. Let me share with you my story.
Sure, of course.
So I came October of 2012 to Canada, and the first week I printed a card, handyman, to work as a handyman. I worked in a factory. I was production manager and quality control manager, so I learned how to be a good handyman. So, and I remember somebody phoned me and said, the mirror of my car is broken, can you fix it? And I said, yes, I can fix it. And I went there. I had no clue, but I had no fear. And today I have no fear. If you say something is broken, I'm happy to open it and look into it to see if something needs to be fixed or something needs to be replaced. So I can, and thankfully I can put it back together.
Yeah.
So I fixed the mirror. I saw the lady about a year later, and she said, "Oh, it still works.
Yeah.
Thank you." And I didn't need to buy a new one. And then I applied at a college in Victoria. I worked at that college for 7 years. I tried a few times to get a teaching assignment. I was not successful for who knows what reason. And many people that they knew me at the college, they said, "Oh, Naji, you are underpaid, you are underutilized,
Mm-hmm.
or we can use more um, of you at the college." It didn't happen. I don't know why, but it didn't happen. And now that I look back, I don't know if it was, I don't know how to describe it. It was a waste of time, or it was a time that I needed to have to become the person that I am today.
That is true. As they say, hard times create strong men.
Yeah, I believe today I'm way stronger.
Yeah.
I started to improve my communication skills. I joined Toastmasters.
Okay.
Helped me a lot
Mm-hmm.
to improve my communication skills and my leadership skills. And I think in 2018 I was honored with receiving DTM, the Distinguished Toastmaster.
That's good.
Yeah, some Toastmasters, they joke about it and say, "Don't time me." Because in Toastmasters, we time each other.
Okay.
We learn how to speak within a time frame.
Okay.
So we have 2 minutes of speeches, we have 7 minutes of speeches. So
Yeah.
we learn how to speak. I'm glad that today we don't have a timer.
Yeah.
So DTM is the highest credential that you can get in Toastmasters.
Okay.
And it helped me a lot in terms of my daily communications, my teaching in the class.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I remember I was telling my friend that the storytelling skills you have is amazing.
Mhm.
That's what keeps us engaged in the class. Yeah.
So back to your question, what people can do that they want to establish themselves in Canada.
Yeah.
I would say always, always, always keep your energy up. Do not get disappointed. And sometimes I show the part of the Gladiator movie in the class.
I'll add that.
You had that?
I will add that in the clip.
Yeah. So I say you're champions.
Yeah.
If today you're not at a place that you should be, if today you're delivering food for skip dishes, that's okay. If you're delivering food for Uber Eats, that's okay. If you are working as a sales associate and you've been an engineer, a physician, a dentist before, that's okay.
Yeah.
What is not okay is if you forget who you are and what you're capable of doing.
Yeah.
That's not okay.
That's right.
And have the perseverance, be resilient, continue, and we have a saying in Farsi, we say, you continue knocking and the door opens.
Yeah.
You just need to continue knocking and do not give up.
Right.
On the other hand, improving the soft skills,
Yeah.
communication skills, leadership skills are very, very important.
Yeah, that was my next question. What are the 3 to 5 or maybe 3 most important skills that you need that an employer looks for, or in general that helps you in your personal life?
I think the needs of an employer, it's pretty natural and organic. Like you and I, as an employer, we would want to have somebody who has the knowledge and the know-how. And beside to that, they have the soft skills. We acknowledge that there are some differences in terms of the working culture and habits.
Right.
In Canada specifically, and in other countries. One
Yeah.
of them is the notion of time. So in Canada, 8 is 8, 4 is 4, 12 is 12.
Yeah.
In some cultures, 8 can be 8:05, 8:10, 8:15, right?
Yeah.
Coffee break, lunch break,
Yeah.
they have their own start time and end
Right.
time because you are paid based on the hour that you work,
Yeah.
right? And they call it the time theft, that's
Yeah.
the time that they need to work what they don't. That's one thing. So soft skills, communication skills,
Yeah.
learning how to communicate openly and clearly
Mm-hmm.
and transparently
Right.
in your message and in the correspondence that you want to have.
Mm-hmm.
I think these are the skills that any employer would want, in addition to the teamwork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one that I would like to add on, that my uncle, so we call my uncle from my mother's side, we call him Mama.
Mm-hmm.
So like mother is Ma and Mama is, I don't know what it is. So we call my uncle Mama. So what my uncle taught me was having the right attitude is very important.
Mm-hmm.
So have you heard of Aon Hewitt? Aon, Aon. It's a European company. So it was there for on the Manchester United jersey also.
Mm-hmm.
So he was the managing director in India, and so what he told me that, Sahil, there are people who are more skilled than me.
Mm-hmm.
There are people who have more degrees than me, more qualification than me. But the reason that I am the managing director is because of my attitude.
Mm-hmm.
I always had that attitude of doing the things.
Mm-hmm.
Not that, okay, why do I do that job? That's not for me. That's not my task. I was always on to, okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. If there's some task, I would do it happily. I won't say no to it.
Mm-hmm.
So that is what he said that took him there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's and like I said, communication. If you go back to in the history, look back in the past 3,000 years.
Yeah.
When in Greece they wanted to have a leader, they would pick somebody who has a good communication and leadership skills. Basically, giving good speeches.
Of course.
Right.
Yeah.
Powerful and a
Absolutely.
strong talks.
Yeah.
Right. If
Yeah.
you look back to the history, Dr. Martin Luther King
Yeah.
was a great speaker. Right.
Yeah.
So there might be 10, 15, 20, 100 engineers.
Yeah.
When they want to send a representative to another meeting, they would select and they would pick somebody who can speak well.
Absolutely.
Right? And again, back to Toastmasters organization, I always encourage students and anybody who wants to become successful in Canada to join this great organization and to improve their communication skills. Communication is the key. Communication cannot solve all problems, but it can solve many problems.
Yeah. And it takes you to places, just like what you
Yeah.
said. Yeah. So regarding that, about the organization that you said, my question can be around it. So how can one make contacts in Canada? Joining the organization is one good advantage, one good way of making contacts. That's what I heard before coming and after even coming, that you need to have good contacts so people can give your reference. So
right. But the point is that if you're making contact just for the sake of making contact, there should be something valuable in the jar or in the container that when you are in contact people, then they would see that in you and they would love it and they would want to work with you or introduce you to somebody else, right? So what I see in you is the value of a passionate graduate of MBA who has experience in business, who is aspired and who is dedicated and who is full of energy.
Thank you.
Right? So if somebody is looking for something, and then you will come up in my mind subconsciously,
Right.
So what I'm trying to say is making contact is good, but before that, you need to create and develop enough value in yourself, in ourselves, so when we see people and when people see us, then they can see the value. Right? So just going around randomly and contacting people with no value would go nowhere. Right? But if we are valuable enough and if we can add value to people's lives and to their businesses,
Yeah.
and to their organizations, then there are several ways.
Mm.
That's the easy part. Toastmasters, meetup, volunteer work. I did a lot of volunteer work for
Yeah.
United Way, for the union, for basically any organization that I knew that they need help. Indigenous organization in Victoria that they had a shelter. I went there to help with setting up a bed and the kitchen, and I did it. It took about an hour or so, and then I said, well, I did what you asked me to do, and the manager came and said, well, that looks great, Naji, thank you. We have 28 more units like that. So volunteer work,
Yeah.
Toastmasters, conferences, workshops,
Yeah.
Hiking, right?
Nice.
And you don't need to have 1,000 or 1,000,000 contacts.
Of course.
Right? You may have one contact, and that contact, believes in you, and or may know somebody that can help you to grow, right?
It's like what you can also offer. And also it's better. That's only when you will be able to make contacts. Otherwise, it's going to be quite difficult, because what people see is what is in there for me as well. If I'm making a contact, what's in there for me? So that totally makes sense.
So creating value, it's basically what you had in India. You had an institution to help people to become valuable and to grow themselves and to take their game to the next level.
Exactly. That was the idea, because what used to happen was, since I was in theater, I was always the one picked for all the shows, since I was doing it, but not everybody got a chance. So similarly in schools, that is what happens. Not everybody gets a chance. So that's how I came up with an idea. Okay, let's open up an institute where they all are prepared for that, who are not getting a chance in schools. They should get a chance here and develop themselves. And that's what helped me developing myself, my communication skills, my confidence in meeting people, and my awareness that, okay, I enjoy doing that. I enjoy talking to people. I enjoy presenting myself. Yeah, that was good.
And you're good at it.
Thank you. That would mean a lot to me. Okay, so the third part of the business, job is done. How to manage in Canada is done. Now, somebody like me, and there are many like me, who want to start business in Canada. So what are the steps to start business in Canada?
And that's a good question, because we have immediate needs.
Yeah.
Immediate needs include paying the rent, paying the bills, putting the food on the table. And then we have aspirations and dreams, business ideas. The normal scenario that happens is that people get into an 8 to 5 job, and then they forget their dreams and they get used to it, and they believe that this is my destiny and this is who I am and this is this is the maximum that I can do. Some people, they stay in the same job for so many years.
Exactly.
Some others, they apply for higher and better jobs every year. And I always say this in the class, and I say this to be recorded. Every year or every 18 months, set aside a week. Don't do anything but applying for better and higher jobs, and bring whatever you have done in the past 18 months on your resume, and then it will add value to your resume. So I had a friend that he was an accountant, applied to become a senior accountant, and then auditor and senior auditor, and then he works on the budget of BC, British Columbia. So even if you are in that 8 to 5 job, every year apply to improve yourself and improve your job. If you have a side hustle, if you think that you are good at something, if you think that you can add value and people are ready and willing to pay money for it, probably you would have started after your work or on the weekends.
Yeah.
Probably in the first year or so, you will earn anywhere between $0 to $5,000.
Yeah.
When you make that more serious, when you give more time to that, probably it will be around 10 to 20 to $30,000 a year,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can gradually shift from your 8 to 5 job, making that part time on that job, and part time on your own idea, and eventually you can move. You can leave that 8 to 5 job and then put your dedication and time and energy into the business that
Right.
you really love. And I think this formula of gradually moving and shifting from what needs to be done at the beginning to meet the immediate needs of the family,
Yeah.
like putting the food on the table and
Yeah.
paying the bills, to the point that you don't have a job, you
Yeah.
have a business, not a
Mm.
self-employment, a business that you love to do,
Mm.
and also it fulfills your bank account, and it fulfills your body, and it fulfills your soul.
Yeah.
That's what we want to have, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I've met a lot of people who are old, and I talk about that. Uh, I ask them why they have a lot of knowledge, but then why didn't they get into it? Why didn't they start? So that's what they say, that they got a house or a car and they had to pay off the debts, and then they got into the loop and they got stuck there. One of my friends, I mean, ex-girlfriend, was telling me once, she attended a seminar. It was quite interacting seminar, and there were a lot of men too. And then and they were around their 40s and all, and even older than that. And they had a huge regret of not starting their own business.
Mhm.
If they had any regret, they have this regret of not starting the business earlier, or not starting a business until now. And even, I guess there was a book on it when they were asked, when they were on the deathbed, sorry, that it's a regret that they didn't do
Mhm.
what they really wanted to do,
Mhm.
because they stayed in the loop
Mhm.
of paying the debts and going as per the society's norms.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I want to share something
Absolutely.
that I learned from Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba and
Yeah.
AliExpress.
Crazy guy.
Yeah, he says
Love him.
when you are under 20,
Yeah.
don't even think about work.
Yeah.
And I admire my son. He's 14 years old. His name is Max. Hi, Max. And,
Hey, Max.
And then I said he has a friend, that his friend is really good
Mhm.
at editing videos. And I thought, if I buy a drone,
Yeah.
then I can make a business for them.
Uh-huh.
And then I said the business would be between you and your friend and me.
Mhm.
So 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3. I buy and I invest on the drone.
Yeah.
You do a few video shooting of commercial buildings, even of the events, and then for free,
Yeah.
and get the permission to post them on your website. So you have a website, then you can show your work, and then
Yeah.
you can get projects, and then. And my son said, "I'll think about it."
Okay.
And after about a week, I said, "Did you think about my idea?"
Yeah.
And he said, "Yes." I said, "So?" And he said, "I'm a kid. I don't want to start a business. I want to complete my time as a kid."
Damn. Such clarity in the head.
It amazed me.
Yeah.
It amazed me. And then I said, "Wow. Such a great response,
Yeah.
right?"
Yeah.
And then I thought, if he would have listened to me as a professor who teaches business, and if he would have started his business, then what I would take away from him would be his time as a youth and
Yeah.
as a kid, right? So anyway, Jack Ma says, don't do anything before 20.
Uh-huh.
When you're 20 to 30, find a good employer in a small business Not in a large business, because in large businesses you are one in 5,000 or 80,000 employees, and
Yeah.
you will not be seen, and you will not learn as much as you can learn.
Yeah.
But if you work in an organization that has anywhere between 1 to 99, a small business,
Yeah.
then you would have a chance to be in contact with the business owner and other people and learn and grow.
Mm-hmm.
When you're 30 to 40, do not be hesitant and reluctant of starting of your idea.
Yeah.
Whatever that idea is, just the start. Do not spend a lot of time planning.
Yeah.
Take the first step, take the second step, take the third step, and so on and so forth,
Yeah.
and go with it.
Yeah.
Two things can happen. It can fail or it can succeed. If it's successful, then you're a successful entrepreneur. If it fails, then you become a stronger person.
Yeah.
Then you are improved. Then you are not the person that you were the day before. And that new person will hold your hand and will lead you to the next business ideas that
Right.
eventually will be successful.
Right.
When you're 40 to 50, try not to try new things. Do what you're good at.
Yeah.
If you're good at something, if you have discovered your core competency, just work on that and expand it, improve it, diversify it, and diversify the market, diversify your product, your service.
Yeah.
And after 50, if you want to continue your business, hire young people because they are smarter,
Yeah.
they are more open, they
Yeah.
are more flexible, they can think better,
Yeah.
they can do things faster and quicker.
Yeah, but there's this thing in these businesses, like a lot of times, the friends that I have who have their father's business, they have this problem of not being able to work with their fathers. Reason being their father has a mindset and they want to work their own way, and they're not able to accept what their kids are bringing on the table. So how to manage that?
Before that, I want to complete what I want to say about after 60. It says after 60, just forget about work, go and enjoy your retirement, spend some time with your grandkids if you have, or with your kids,
Yeah.
and spend some time on the beach and enjoy the rest of your life. But what
That
to
makes
do?
sense.
But what to do with fathers? First, I think a good advice for fathers is that do not bring your son to your own business.
Ooh.
Or your children.
Interesting.
Or your daughter. The first thing that they would do, they would fire your best employee, because they see the best employee as a threat, or they want to show, or they want to establish themselves. This is the scenario that happens in most cases, but there are some exceptions as well. But if they want to have that as a family business, or if they want to continue, give them the freedom and let them to experience. Like your parents, they let you to fly.
Yeah.
They did not cut your wings.
Mm-hmm.
And it's important that we give that flexibility and freedom in our kids. I have seen examples that parents, they say, you will be removed from my will if you are not going to continue this business, because it shows that you're not loyal to the family. That's not true.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, the professional way of doing the business is you can be the business owner, but you can hire a CEO or a manager to run the business and to lead the business for you.
Mm-hmm.
A business owner doesn't have to be involved in decision making, doesn't have to be the creative director of the business, doesn't have to be the designer.
Yeah.
Right? Can stay and can act as the owner of the business and making the strategic decisions, but they don't have to be involved in everyday, day-to-day, the operational pieces. right?
My question to you regarding that is, so that's what I've been asking my uncle to do that. So my uncle, as I told you, my uncle has a printing business. So what he would always be scared of is that if he give all access to all the information and knowledge about his business, the person might, he's ready to use the resources, give the resources to him.
Mm-hmm.
But the person might eventually start his own thing, start his own business.
Mm-hmm.
So is that fair, okay, or how to handle that, how to manage that?
Well, you need to. Well, it can happen with the person that who learns the ins and outs.
Yeah.
There are some legal prevention strategies.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Sometimes they ask them to sign that they are not allowed to work in the same industry for 5 or 10 years. But what I'm trying to say here is that it can happen anywhere with anybody.
Yeah.
So we need to have creativity and innovation always integrated to the business to be ahead of the market or to create a new market and to be ahead of the competition, or at least to be able to compete. We cannot stop people from learning and growing.
That's true.
We cannot hold them back from their aspirations.
Yeah.
What we can do as business owners, we can have features attached to our product, or we can have things that we do extra to go over and beyond. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Honestly, I also did the same thing. So before starting my own institute, that's what I did. I joined one institute that was already doing that. So I learned everything ins and out. And then eventually I started. And I don't know if it was right to do that. What I did before leaving, I let the owner know. Yeah, that I'm going to start that. And he was not happy. If he ever hears that, he's not happy. But I love him. I learned a lot from him. But he hated me for that.
yeah, I can feel and
Yeah.
I can understand the sense and the feeling and the emotions of that. But we say a teacher who doesn't, or a trainer who doesn't train a trainee to become better than him or her, it's not a good trainer.
Yeah.
Say a father or a mom who doesn't raise a kid to become better than them,
Yeah.
probably it's not a good parent.
Yeah.
It's a saying, right? So as a business owner, I have been honored that many of individuals that they have worked for me, they have become business owners and now they have their own businesses. And I'm glad to see that, right?
Yeah.
I know that as a business owner, I need to compete with my former employees or with other colleagues.
Yeah.
Right?
So if you have that mindset, that won't make you insecure about it.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the market is open. The market is abundant.
Yeah.
There are lots of customers, clients,
Yeah.
right?
If not that person who is working and left and started his stuff, there would be somebody else eventually.
Yeah.
You can't keep sailing the boat all alone. Somebody would else be there for fishing.
And based on what you said about attitude, it goes back to your attitude. Do you believe in abundance or do you believe in a scarcity?
Oh yeah.
So limited resources or more than enough for anybody and everybody.
Yeah.
If you believe in that, then you will not be mad and sad at somebody who starts the same business. I think that was a great conversation. I loved it.
Yeah.
Let's do it again.
Absolutely.
And I thank the audience who listened to us. I hope that they found some value in what we had in our conversation.
Yeah.
And I love to do this more. And then I would love to see what the next chapter of your life will look like.
Absolutely. It was a total pleasure having you here. And I would like to have you again, Professor.
Thank you.
Love it. Thank you.